Hello everyone, my name is Ridwana Islam. I will be presenting on the effects of the abandoned lead smelter plant in the region of Haina, Dominican Republic. The purpose and objective of this oral presentation is to provide context on the abandoned automobile battery recycling smelter plant and the consequences that residents of the area face due to poor waste management removal. We will discuss background information on Haina community, a brief history on the lead smelter plant, and examine the health issues that people, especially children, are facing in this region due to waste buildup and contamination in the water, dirt, and soil. Haina is a small community that was once an industrial hub and port city in the Dominican Republic. Today, Haina is known as Bajos de Haina Dominicana Chernobyl, due to the high levels of chemical pollution. Lead smelters are plants that produce lead. Chemical plants such as this can produce toxic chemicals such as formaldehyde, ammonium, and sulfuric acid. One of the dire health issues the people of Haina face due to runoff of toxic chemicals from lead smelters is lead poisoning. In this table, I listed the dangers that lead poisoning can have on people. In particular, children are more susceptible to having more serious health consequences. Sources of lead entry can be in the form of ingestion, inhalation, dermal, and endogenous exposure. The effects of lead poisoning can range from damaged brain, nervous system, slowed growth, learning behavioral problems, hearing and speech delays. Communities that border Haina River was exposed to the runoff of toxic chemicals in the water daily. Paraiso del Dios, which borders the former Metalo lead-acid battery factory, where they had smelter operations, produced waste materials into the water, soil, and homes near the facility. The factory produced waste from lead, copper, zinc. These battery recycling smelters poisoned the environment by releasing toxic emissions. The lack of environmental safety concerns resulted in substantial contamination of the site. The factory later closed in 2000, but more waste continued to build up, and residents were contracting lead poisoning from this. Paraiso del Dios was located in a very hilly location where rainwater would travel down to the residential neighborhoods. Many residents near the area lived in homes with dirt floors. In 1997, 116 children were surveyed in this community for lead level, and the recycling plant closed after the report was actually published. The survey found an average of 71 micrograms per deciliter and 28% of children who needed immediate medical treatment. This pie chart compares the mean blood lead levels of the workers of the battery recycling plant to children of the area. We see that in October 1996 to August 1997, 39.6% of workers were exposed to high BPB concentrations, versus in late August 1997 to 1998, when the factory was shut down, children had the highest levels of continued BPB levels. We can conclude that lead poisoning has more of a long-term and dire consequence to children than adults. This graph illustrates the shutdown of the factories reduced the incidence of lead poisoning. However, the health effects of lead poisoning continue to linger among children who had already contracted it. The effects included neurological damage, reduced IQ, anemia, nerve disorders, muscle, joint pain, loss of memory, and much more. The funding from the Terragraphics International Foundation and Blacksmith Institute research sampled soil from 2006 to 2007. They found high levels of lead in residential lots. Contaminated waste accounted for almost 30 to 45% lead concentration levels. Although the factory had closed, the site became a waste ground for many locals over time, which contributed to its excessive filling with waste. The sampling of blood lead levels continued, and the prevalence of high blood levels decreased. This improved as a result of the reduction in contamination and promoting the removal of waste material in the area. The surface soil concentration ranged higher than EPA standards, which made the Dominican Republic government commission a major cleanup. The initiative led to removing more than 3,000 cubic meters of hazardous waste and 4,000 cubic meters of contaminated soils. The lead smelters sites were transformed into ecological and, I'd say, green parks. Haina, also referred to as Bajos de Haina Dominicana Chernobyl, is a small community located near an abandoned lead smelter plant. The whole community of Haina, and especially residents neighboring the former Metalloaxo lead acid battery plant, flowed lead waste into the rainwater and soil. In 1997, a survey in Paroso del Daiso in Haina found children having a high blood lead level and 28% needed immediate medical treatment. The factory closed in 2000, which led to waste materials building up. Children were accessing the soil and exposing it to the rest of the family. Soil sampling continued from 2006 to 2007 and found over 30 to 45% of lead waste in it. The Ministry of Environmental Waste Removal proposed interventions, and a large waste removal cleanup was conducted. This cleanup removed 7,000 cubic meters of contaminated soil and waste. Thank you for watching my presentation.